Are you able to hear me? That's not good. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. If you can hear me or not? Huh. How does the other person hear me? Ay, ay, ay. Huh. Let's see. Okay, hang on. Oh, I know. I think. Hang on. Properties. I think. Settings. Gosh. Okay. Oh. Okay. So, let's see. Sorry about the technical difficulties while I'm getting set up. It's just very annoying. It's very weird. I'm so sorry, everybody. And yeah, I did beat that mission already, but... well, there you go. Webcam source. Video source. Audio source. Hang on. Ugh. Why does this have to be troubleshot right now? I mean, did you... yeah, hang on. Gosh. May have to try this stream again at some point, but I really don't want to, because I have been dealing with technical issues with my streaming setup for fucking way too long, and I am sick of it. So, I'm really hoping that this can work. That'd be nice. Oh boy. Okay, looks like a new costume for Rosalina. Nice. What is this? Question black. Whoa! Okay. Okay. Still quite a bit of fun this way, for sure. Can't eat my dash food yet, but I guess I can cause some massive traffic pileup. For a little bit. Yeah, I'm just waiting for my co-host, everybody. I'm sorry. It's very difficult to remotely troubleshoot his audio from halfway across the country, so, please bear with me. We will be getting to the gaming news portion of this discussion very shortly. I'm just chilling and vibing in Mario Kart World at the moment while being frustrated with how annoying it is to be a content creator and how they don't tell you a lot of these things. And how easy it is to feel like you are doing well until something fucks up in the middle of being live. Oh! Ghosts turn into coins. Cool. And that Shy Guy is just backpacking. One thing I have noticed is that the sizes of the Mario universe people are very interesting. Because I think all of the NPCs are taller than the cars, or just about as tall. So, it's kind of terrifying, the prospect of being stomped on by a 8-foot-tall Goomba on the way to work. The mushrooms must make Mario really huge if he can step on them. Tribute to Ghost Valley 1. Kevin would know what that means more than me. Okay, blah! Oh, I need to hit the P switch again. Duh. I mean, you could say that there's not a lot of content in the open world so far, and you would be right, but what is there is really fun so far. Let's see. I gotta approach that mansion afterwards. Let's see how it is. Bum, bum, dum. Okay, well, let's see. Yeah, nothing seems to be working for my co-host. I don't know what's up. Or?
Tess? Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you. Can you hear me? Okay. In the middle of this, it should have settings.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me at all? It's outputting on my end.
Yeah,
Can you hear me at all?
yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I can hear you, but now I can't get the audio to route to my headset or my earbuds. I have my earbuds in.
As long as you can hear me at all, and, like, I am picking up your voice.
I'm just gonna take one of them out so I can hear you better.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
Can you still hear me?
Yeah, all very fair.
I think that's as good as we're gonna get it for tonight.
Yeah, that's okay. You know, as long as we have it at all, we can fix it later. So.
Yeah, I wish I had more time to troubleshoot in the few days we had between trying, but I've been working like literally non-stop.
It's okay. I'll do some more thorough troubleshooting of the Collab Cam stuff with my British audio engineer friend. Okay. So, when he comes back from his vacation on Thursday. Anyway, let me just get the projector out. And, or you know what? I'll do a source projector. Hang on. 'Cause, well, let's see. Shoot-a-doop-a-doop. Okay. Projector. No, not remove. Properties, projector. Uh-oh. Where is it? Oh boy. Not move. Okay. You know what? I guess I'm just... No, hang on. I'm gonna try it once again with projector mode. There we go. Okay, output projector is what I want. Ay. Okay, well... In any case, this is all getting edited out into a separate video that shows the perils of content creation. Anyway, I am going to go online, because that's one of the things that I am not as practiced in, is actually like trying to get multiplayer together at all for us. But,
yeah.
Let's see. I mean, I've only had my Nintendos.
Sometimes it worked. I'm on my friends list now, so whenever you join a thing, it'll tell me, and I can try to join as quickly as possible.
Oh yeah, create chat.
The last 2 times.
You're the only friend that's finished setting up game chat, by the way. So now... Oh gosh. I'm gonna need to mute my output here. How does this work again?
Wait, I just got an invite. Did you want to... We don't need to do game...
Oh no, we don't. You're right.
Okay.
Ugh, that's true. Okay, so I'm quitting free roam now. There's still definitely some...
On the friends list, as soon as it lights up saying that you're in a lobby, I will join as fast as I can.
Yeah, I mean, it's still kind of silly that that's how it has to go for Mario Kart. But, hello, you! All of you. Welcome to SunnyRedemption Sailing number 34, your bi-weekly voyage for BS3 Gaming News, as we celebrate the biggest Nintendo launch ever. My goodness. Okay, so I'm gonna do some knockouttour. I think.
Alright, I'm gonna try to join on you. I know we didn't have success with this last time we tried knockouttour, so hopefully it'll work this time.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, see, the problem is the lobbies for those fill up so fast, so as soon as it put you online, it was immediately full.
Ah, so I think we just gotta do...
It's more like a rolling lobby.
I see the distinction there.
Yeah.
That's fucking annoying, because...
The last 2 times we tried joining regular races, I had no problem. So, let's try that first.
Well, I loved,
and the other problem
just doing the races.
Is if you get into a lobby and I have to wait for you, it could be up to like 15 minutes, because those
Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Yeah. Well, I mean, this is definitely one of those things about Mario Kart World that's clunky as fuck.
Yeah.
Okay, it's still searching for.
Are way easier to join, unfortunately, because I do like knockout tour.
Yeah, I was just about to say that's my favorite mode, and that does add quite a bit to the argument for intermissions. I mean, basically what I've been hearing is that the intermissions are much more of a mixed bag than people have been saying online, because the ones that we did, I was fine with. Like...
Yeah, I generally haven't had a problem with them. Like, maybe if I was playing this a lot more than I am, like, I honestly have not been playing this aside from pretty much, because I'm just playing Final Fantasy 16 still.
Oh, wow. Yep. Yeah, this...
At the end of that, so I think this will be kind of the next thing. This and Donkey Kong are going to be what I focus on when I'm Final Fantasy.
Splatoon 3 has been a big focus for me on the Switch, as well as things like Dusk and Doom 1. I tried Doom 1 plus 2 and kept getting lost. Super Mario Bros. Wonder I am stuck on that fake out trial in like the lava castle or something that is like, oh, you need to find this secret thing first before you finish the course. So I'm just completely out of knowledge for that, and will be waiting for my friend Billy to... I just had a really fun time playing that on the couch with Billy. I mean, really, that is the thing with this console. For all the controversies, it is undeniable in terms of both of sales success and hardware, just in general. I mean, yeah, you can criticize it for just being a more powerful Nintendo Switch 1, but right now that's all it needs to be for me, because I always had issues going back and forth with Nintendo Switches based on the performance profile. And now, like, I can just enjoy Tears of the Kingdom at a silky smooth 60 FPS the entire time, and I've just been getting lost in that world instead of being like, oh, I'm trying to manipulate the physics, but the frame rate is terrible. And when I originally got it on a Switch Lite in 2023 before giving up on the system entirely, I also have very unique circumstances because, well, first of all, I've been colluding with a friend to basically share a Nintendo account for the past, you know, 7 years since I got him a Smash Ultimate bundle. So, that is something that's likely to not be a thing for most people, unless they have, like, somebody really close to them. And even then...
Yeah, I know some people who just share like that. Not that uncommon.
Even then, though, the virtual...
Getting a bunch of people into, like, a SwitchOnline family membership.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm definitely plonking down a little bit for that the next time it renews in 2026. But that was, again, because my friend had already paid for it on his own volition. He's really into the emulated games that they have there.
I'm in a group with Dan and a bunch of their roommates. 2 of their roommates and a few of their friends who can't do it. And we just have a family plan. I think we should pay, like...
Oops, I fell off.
Not even, like, $50 a year or something.
Yeah, well... The virtual... The thing is, though, that the virtual game card system is so annoying that it might interfere with that sort of plan for more than 2 people. Because if...
Well, we don't share the console level, we just share the subscription.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Doing the console sharing, having a whole console. We don't do that.
That's fair, I just...
But the subscription
yeah.
for the family plan, if you pool it together, is like...
I mean, yeah, that's
cheaper than individual.
very nice. I think I think that's what, or maybe it's just an individual online expansion pass, whatever the fuck the name is. But, whatever the fuck its name is, I have been really enjoying the GameCube games. This is probably my favorite way to play Wind Waker, even if the camera controls are a little switched up and the
Yeah,
it's a black bars.
Remap the camera controls, but I would advise against that because when you get to Wind Waker, I don't know if you've gotten that far, that's also controlled with the right stick, and that would invert those controls.
Oh boy.
So,
okay, thanks for the PSA. Alright.
yeah,
Well.
because I did that at first, because I'm like, oh, let me uninvert the horizontal controls, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is going to be a problem in 2 hours.
oh gosh. Well.
I switched it back to default, and I'm like, alright, I'll just deal with it.
Yeah, well, that's one of those
Honestly,
things where...
like, you don't really need the free camera in that game that much. Like, you can get by just fine with recentering with the L button when you need to.
Okay, that's fair.
I think the default camera is fine in most situations.
Okay, well, I mean, that kind of thing bothers me more. Hey, my course was selected, Dino Jungle. Wee. But yeah.
By the way, I'm gonna turn on my AC on low. If it starts to cause audio issues, just let me know. I don't need it on. It's just a little stuffy in here.
Oh, it has been so stuffy in... It's been so fucking... It's a... I don't really hear it right now, but let me know. I guess. Oh, okay.
I didn't want to turn it on and have it be annoying.
Oh, I thought you were like, I'm gonna shut it off after the race. But yeah, it's been really fucking stuffy in my apartment. I have to keep the AC basically at 65 for quite a while in order to have livable temperatures because,
yeah, I mean, for me, I'm lucky. My room's like fairly small, so I can just kind of run my AC for 20, 30 minutes and it stays.
Yeah, well, 72 10 years ago is not 72 now, really, because of climate change, unfortunately. But, you know what, like, aside from the impending end of the world, like, I don't hear it, so, yeah, no, it must be too...
It's not on yet. I'm gonna turn it on after the race. I just didn't want to turn it on.
Right, yeah, no, you did. I'm sorry. I've had a long week, but, well, and also, again, a unique situation to deal with, hardware-wise, because I ended up getting my Steam Deck ready for sale and found its original packaging and everything, $360. Again, this is a very unusual situation compared to most people, so I really do find that the critics are and the fanboys are both right and wrong about things, because like I was just watching the guy who used to run one of my favorite channels when I was a kid, Ghost Robo, being like, I miss the old days of YouTube where controversy didn't constantly sell everything, and I'm like, I kind of get it, because I have looked and looked. Maybe the people at Digital Foundry just have sharper eyes and tools, well, obviously the tools, than me, but I don't get the ghosting issue that people have been talking about for so long. I'm not saying it's not a thing, or that, oh, you're so stupid for having this.
With the Switch or the Steam Deck?
Switch. Oh, sorry, yeah. But yeah.
Okay, yeah, I've heard about that. Yeah, I haven't played enough in Portable though. I definitely think that's one of those things where people who are looking for it definitely notice it, but I don't think it's something 99.9%.
Like I said, you know me, I am a huge frame rate snob, so I'm very happy about the 120 hertz for Metroid Prime 4 coming up. Oh gosh, well, I did not have much of a good...
I wasn't first
oh,
for a good
crap.
half a lap, and then I got blue shelled, then I got down to 14th and never really recovered.
Oh, I almost spilled water on my duck. Uh-oh. I think it's okay for now, but I'll clean that up in a second. Okay. Definitely turn your AC on now. I don't want you to roast. But yeah, like, after a couple races, maybe we could do some free roam to talk up some gaming news. I am happy about that. Until the next race is 16 seconds, though. So, yeah, I mean, honestly, like, for, the issues and stuff, again, I'm kind of bummed that the only thing that is in 120 hertz right now is a $10 tutorial. But I...
Yeah.
Excuse me, just dealing with the remnants of my cold.
I think that's the big marquee Nintendo game.
Yeah.
Show off the 120 hertz with.
That's the... I originally was like, I'm not gonna get it, I'm, you know, whatever. And then I heard about that. That was one of the things. I was like, oh, then 120 hertz on a Nintendo shooter in handheld mode. Hopefully they actually come up with VRR support for TVs by then as well. But I think that's particularly related to how HDMI and DisplayPort work together for the Nintendo Switch 2 docks, so we shall see about that. If it's just on handheld mode, that's fine, because I've been loving playing around with the mouse controls for the Nintendo eShop. Again, that's like the only thing until drag and drive. But the potential of it is really amazing, and that's, again, kind of this console as a whole. The highs are really high, and the lows, well, they're low. They exist. They're just not like, oh, Nintendo is the worst company ever. Yeah, they have some predatory practices for sure, and people should be able to talk about them. But one of the things that's bothered me this whole time is, who's actually paying $80 for Mario Kart World? Like, who? I've been thinking about this all day. I think I found the answer. BOB-OMBS did, because of his commitment to try every Switch launch game in a video where he was making a very good point about how annoying game key cards are. But, because normally I would go out and get Puyo Puyo Tetris 2S. That would have been a launch pickup for me if it hadn't been a game key card, excuse me. That's not the most confusing name ever either. Okay, well, Mario Kart Chaos. What it is. Okay, well, I am in 16th as Giant Rosalita, so I'm gonna blame my suckage in these races on the fact that my Shadowcast 2 is capturing, which does mean that the game's frame rate is limited to 30 FPS for right now. I don't know what the...
Oh, I got second.
I got 16th.
I got hit right at the end and then somehow still landed in second.
It has to be a part of that, but I think that's one of those things that's just a thing. Oh, also, you getting it did give me some FOMO, because I was like, well, I really want to play stuff with Kevin on Nintendo systems. Yeah. And then Donkey Kong sealed it for me, because, like, holy shit, the amount of things that you could do with this premise. Just full environmental destruction on a Nintendo console. And sure, that's not necessarily innovative in the world of video game consoles or video game graphics in general, because we've been having really great ray tracing and flesh destruction and other such granular things this generation. It's more just that Nintendo is so conservative that when they do it, it's a revolution.
Yeah. And the thing with Nintendo is, like, when they use a concept like that that's new to them but hasn't done a lot, they can still do something very interesting, like, you know, Breath of the Wild, where they took the print of 2010's open world game and kind of turned it on its head. Did a lot of interesting things with it. So I expect them to do a lot more than just be a tech demo. I feel like that's what a lot of the constructability are. Tech demo focus, like Teardown, for example. Like, that game has missions and stuff, but
It's really about the destruction.
Yeah, people don't play it to play the missions. You know?
Well, I did. They were
I
fine.
think Nintendo will do a good job at turning the destruction aspect into a decent game.
That is gonna be very fair, especially with Donkey Kong.
Using the destructibility as a tool rather than the selling point.
Right, yeah. It's make it part of a fun game. Which I think, like, and also just, even if you are using older tech, make it well. Which, like, the Switch 2 is not new, necessarily, in its technology, for sure, because I'm betting anything that's why they went with 12 gigabytes of VRAM, for instance, because they could have gotten something fabbed up a little cheaper if it's not the full 16. Like, with certain sectors turned off, for example, that they could get at slightly cheaper prices. But, like, you know who else used to do this kind of thing well, before their current side quest era? Apple. Was, like, everybody would rightfully point out that, you know, that Android did this first, but Apple usually did it polished. And things like mouse controls on a handheld. Obviously, the Steam Deck has done this before, and other PC handhelds have copied it, but I can just literally pull out my Joy-Con and put it on the table or my pants, and suddenly I have mouse. That's magical. You know, that's like...
Yeah, I certainly haven't tried the mouse.
I was gonna call the Switch 2 the iPhone versus Steam Deck's Android because of the, you know, customization features that are there with the Steam Deck, which I will miss. Even if even if I'm not quite as into emulation as other people are. It was a fun option, if a bit exhausting with how the desktop mode worked sometimes. Because I could get free games from the Epic Game Store and stuff like that. You know, that flexibility allows for a lot of choices, which Nintendo does not. But the reason why I have, or, well, I guess had, other than the locking effect, iPhones, was because they just worked. And I could just click button on Super Mario Bros. Wonder, it'll work. That's what consoles are for. And with this race to make, like, Xbox into a hybrid PC, basically, that's what I'm slightly worried about. Oh, finish. Eighth place, I'll take.
I was in second for half the race, and then I just got pummeled to 17th in the last 10.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, maybe after, like, one race, we could take one more race, we can take a break and just do some online free roam, because that, again, as I mentioned, is clunky, but it does work if you create a friends room and then are like just clicking on friends. It's not intuitive at all.
I thought we tried that.
Yeah, no, the P-Switch missions don't work. It would just be for more like, hey, here's all the news stuff. Not for the rest of the show, but just for a little bit after this next race. Because, man, there's been some stuff this past month. Let's see. Oh, well, I mean, it seems like the big fail with the Switch, for instance, and I think we could definitely talk about this during the race, is just like, dbrand's killswitch fail. But just in general, it seems like physical accessories might need a bit of a review. Because what happened with the killswitch was, it was like a 0.21 millimeter air gap, and that was what was causing people, in rare instances, to have that fall. And the company's response was, of course, not great, but then they ended up course correcting and being like, yeah, now make fun of us for the next 6 months. But I don't know how many like just random accessories Switch has tested, Nintendo has tested, because like, and this might just be me not knowing how it works, but the NCI Magic is a third-party adapter that I was using late in the Switch's lifespan to get Xbox controllers to work seamlessly. Because while this Joy-Con grip is definitely more ergonomic than than just the handheld, although I will say that that's fine.
Yeah, I love the
Oh, I was just talking about the grip that comes with the Switch too.
Yeah, I know. I'm not a huge fan of it. If I'm gonna play with Joy-Con,
I mean, but yeah, basically what I was doing with that is just realizing that I could save money by connecting up an Xbox controller that I already had. And I may still be able to do that. If I can, I would just lose so many hours to Splatoon 3. But I might need to grow up and learn the gyroscope maybe is the way, because I routinely get my butt kicked after all this time away.
I got the highest rank in Splatoon without the gyro.
Oh wow.
I'm personally not a huge fan of gyro aiming. I understand the benefits, but like I really love it. So it's very doable to get good at that game with competitive.
I'll see how it is with Metroid Prime 4, if nothing else.
Yeah, I usually try it out with any game that supports it, but I never really find it.
Ah. Oh boy, here we go. I am just doing dismally as before. Let's see. There we go. The big thing for me is that I used to get be consistently good. This is another criticism I may have of World, though I kind of understand why they did it. Well, I just item bagged myself to 6th, and then got flattened immediately.
As soon as I got first, there's no and it hit me while I was over a flying card without way back.
Oh, great. Oh boy, well, I just hit the 4th place person in front of me with a red shell. Okay, so, with Mario Kart World, for 8, I was just really loving the drift. I can understand why they've loosened it a bit in order to just prevent people from just drifting to win forever and just causing casual players to nope out. And I also get that they wanted to...
I used to play Mario Kart DS, and I was like very competitive in that because I was good at drifting. And that was the one game, like I mentioned before, like there was like a skill war to it with drifting. Like if you were good at the drifting, you could consistently get like first place. If you weren't good at it. That's one thing I do miss is that like consistency, but at the end of the day, if you just treat this game as more of a Mario Kart expansion as fast as it is,
Yeah.
it's different. I will never, like Mario Kart DS, which is the one I'm talking about, still has my favorite online just for the factor of the skills.
Ah, so that's still a thing that...
And because I was very good at it, like, I was doing time trials in my game for competitive in the actual, like, record based.
I'm pretty sure that I'll get competitive at some point in the next few months with this game.
Yeah, this is just a whole different beast, and it's not, it's just a different type of game.
Right, yeah. That's just something you're gonna need to evaluate for yourself, really.
Yeah, like, and there's still skill involved, for sure, because I'm not the best in this game yet, I've only played a few hours, but, even playing, like, you can still get yourself out fast.
Like I'm currently doing right now with the golden mushroom. Of course, that does lead to people saying, well, all you need to do is go in last place and then the items will catapult you ahead. But that's not quite true either. It's just that I think the balance has been tweaked in ways that are hard to accept for some. Right, and it's a balance between the items and the coin and your raw coin speed, though that's been nerfed a bit with the 20 coin, and then just like and then you do have your skills, your jumping, your drifting, your wall running, etc. I guess they just wanted people to have a bit more skills spread out everywhere, and I think people will find the best metas and such for this game fairly soon. But yeah, there's definitely something to be said for just going into this with completely casual mindset.
Yeah, like at the end of the day, it's a game primarily. You're not going to get bitter or upset about it not being 100% skilled.
And again, for those who are saying
6-year-olds are having fun and winning races, if they're not as skilled, that's about it.
Right, I definitely can see myself playing this with Tato when he gets here. And I forgot to mention that I've basically been playing my entire time in handheld mode, so I would have been all over that ghosting issue if I had seen it, but I guess I don't have sharp eyes again. But like, when it comes to Mario Kart World, again, it's like, well, this is a game that's $80. No, it's not. Not really. Not unless you, for some reason, go out of your way to get the no bundle, and then get the game on cartridge.
Well,
this really is.
I guess that's only going to be an issue for people at launch too, because like if the only one I was able to get was one with no bundle at the time, I would have just gotten that and bought the game separately.
Yeah, that's.
But I was lucky that I did get the bundle. I'm sure not everyone was able to get the bundle they wanted, because I think
that's true.
Some stores were just putting up some of the SKUs and then not the other one at certain drops. So if the one that if the drop that I got in on had been non-bundle, I would have just done that.
I wanted to get the non-bundle at first, obviously, to save the money, and then maybe get this game on cartridge later, used from someone, or wait for a rare digital sale, because I was like, well, I want to make room in my budget for Tears of the Kingdom. I ended up doing that anyway, but still, like, basically it changes the equation to a free game on a $500 console, which the thing that bothers me about that isn't so much that Nintendo did that, because I kind of see why they did it. If people really just wanted to play their old Nintendo Switch games, it was a good option, for instance, to have the non-bundle SKU, or got a different game. But there's two problems with this. One is that it seems like the high price of this game and Mario Kart World means that pretty much the only third party that's been doing super well is Cyberpunk. And I think that largely has a lot to do with the fact that they put the entire game on the cartridge versus the game keycard. But as BOB-OMBS pointed out, yeah, I think it was that. It was that or Switch Step. They pointed out that it's hard to get my thoughts together while racing, which is why I definitely want to do some free robot. Well, it also still sounds like I'm dying, but I promise you I'm not. This cold was just it just dogged me. But yeah, so basically, for third parties, they had an impossible choice. Either get a 64 gigabyte card for $15 and eat half your profit margins, or do a game key card and have a physical game at all. So like, I'm not mad at Sega and Puyo Puyo Tetris 2S necessarily, even though it would be nice if they had an upgrade path for any of their games. Like, they don't have one for Sonic X Shadow Generations as well, and so that bothers the shit out of me.
They're like the one company that's
Well, clearly, they are disappointed by the sales. And again, I think that Mario Kart and Mario Kart are just sucking the oxygen out of the room. Otherwise, there's people who, you know, they get the $10 upgrade or $80 Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild Switch 2 edition, and then that's all they need. And that's perfectly valid. It's just that in the time when third parties are finally on board, now they're getting less sales right out of the gate. And I'm sure the Nintendo Switch 2 will be successful, but they also initially sold out of allocations of the Wii U because the diehards like you and me bought it, and then there was just not a lot of third-party games. Now, those third-party games will be up for sure, but how much more expensive will they be? You know, how much later will they be? For some it'll be day and date, I'm sure, but like, you know, we're seeing the old Nintendo tax problem again.
Yeah, did you want to do free roam, by the way?
Yes. Let's
Okay.
figure out how that works. We can still look for Peach medallions and question blocks, so those are important. Let's see. Just for a little bit, because, like... Oh, gosh. Goodness. I'm so sorry. Okay, so how does this work exactly? Let's figure it out.
I set this up before. Let me...
Friends. Create room. Okay, yeah. Make a room to compete,
Okay,
and
yeah,
then...
that's how you do it.
And then you just got to have an obnoxious waiting for people to join thing on there.
I just don't understand that aspect. Why would you not just have a separate
Well, Nintendo's kind of like a fun Japanese grandpa who's set in his ways a little bit. Like, if you do the things that he really wants you to do, then they're really fun and well-crafted, but if you step one toe out of the line, then Nintendo will update your game and fuck with your 3-lap course selection. I mean, as we've mentioned, I'm not really so bothered by that, or not really noticing what the difference is between intersections and 3-lap and 6-lap, you know, in the middle of the actual racing. So some of the criticism, or at least some of the volume of the criticism towards the Nintendo Switch 2 does kind of fit that whole meme of stop having fun! But, you know, with people you know, just not deciding not to get it and then being mad for that reason, I can't really blame them, because this feels like the first Nintendo product that does not feel mass market. Like, I just watched a video about how the GBA was apparently $100? I'm like, what?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But that was a time when...
I forget, 'cause I got one close to launch.
It might have been. Oh, wow.
I want to say it was like 150 at launch. I'm not sure.
Yeah, and that system proves that that's not the first time that that Nintendo has done an evolution of a system rather than a revolution. Yeah, this is not the first time that.
My parents got me a bundle with Tony Hawk 2 and
That would make sense. That market is definitely being harmed by inflation of, like, the parents market. Again, we'll see. but Nintendo is a very physical presence in stores and such. And so, it's interesting that they chose this generation to try and get away from that a little bit. Because, again, this is the generation where if a bunch of people are like, I'm sticking with my old Switch, then they could seriously harm their entire player base, eventually.
Yeah, I think the system's old enough now that most people are very willing.
Yeah, and then trade.
That's borne out by the sales numbers so far. People are very, very ready for a new system.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. But again, we gotta caution, some of this might be about the diehards. This is not gonna be a system every grandma is getting either. And so, well, I think it'll get close, but fall significantly short at the end of the generation. I guess we'll come back here in 8 years and let you know.
Yeah, it very much depends on Nintendo's output, because I feel like that's a lot of what Switch was. They really were firing on all cylinders with their first party, pretty much the entire generation. Like, there were very few games for their first party output, which is why a lot of
I mean, a lot of that first party output at the start, though, was overpriced Wii U games. And it showed, because...
I mean, I'm talking like Breath of the Wild and then Mario Kart having their flagship franchises have...
like that launch window? Yeah, that was one of the best launch windows for a console ever.
That's what I mean, is like continued output. Like...
Start game.
Sales are strong now. How strong will they be in 2 years if they just don't put out any games past Metroid Prime 4, which is kind of as far out as we know right now. Like, I think people were assuming they'd have a Mario game, like, ready to show by now, but I think it seems like that team's working on Donkey Kong. Like,
yeah, it has the signature.
It has all the hallmarks of that team.
Yeah, as you mentioned.
People are now wondering, like, do they have a different team working on a Mario? Do they have maybe another 2D Mario waiting in the wings? Are they just giving it more time after Wonder? Because, like, I think people are ready for a new 3D Mario, but maybe Nintendo just has other things they're doing, and they're hoping that Donkey Kong will be kind of...
Sorry to interrupt, I just set the rules for this custom knockout tour.
Okay.
And...
I mean, is it gonna just be the two of us? I think it's...
And bots. Yeah, no, it's just us and bots.
I've never tried it with bots.
I've set the bot difficulty to normal, and also the, okay, so that's interesting. I see how that works now. Yeah, I mean, yeah, these are all bot names for sure. But at least they'll be able to play Knockout Tour split screen, which is great. Because that's probably one of my favorite racing modes in a while. Like, probably since Forza Horizon 3 talked about hiring and firing your friends. I haven't been this happy with a racing game feature. Let's see. You know, basically, Nintendo will never be forced to course correct until they start losing money. So, right now, all the complaining isn't affecting much of their outlook, except for apparently one shareholder on a Nintendo investor call who was like, "What the fuck? Game key cards suck, man. What are you planning to do about this?"
It's always funny when you get the one shareholder who's like actively invested in the game side of things. Like, a lot of those shareholders are just asking about financial questions, and you always get one person who's like probably some rich actual fan who's like asking them great questions about game development.
It's like, I'm gonna stand up for the gamers' concerns today. I mean, what are investors for if not to hold the company accountable, for sure? But, the accountability that, that people would want for this. What would that look like exactly? Ah! Oh no, I went off course. So I'm sucking at a. Yeah. Well. Yeah, the carts are too expensive. It would be nice if the.
They grin and bear it. Like, that's kind of all you can do is you made that decision. Probably a decision they thought a lot about years ago. Like, clearly they, at least the consequences, have decided to take the most money are going to get people off. Not enough.
Not buy our system at all, because like we still have the most enviable IP lineup and a deep bench of developers, Microsoft, that they're not constantly fucking laying off. While giving a nothing burger announcement about the next generation. We gotta talk about that after this though, because so frustrating, all of it. But yeah, when it comes to the game keycard specifically, I guess the choice is to keep the system that they have now, or to give different cartridge sizes. If I was like the president of Nintendo, I would probably. But the thing is that the sizing of the game cards was a problem last generation, where basically, unless you pair that with better prices for the cartridges, which Nintendo is not likely to do because they want to make money from that, then you're right, it probably won't change. It still kind of sucks because...
And the thing is, Nintendo also sees the writing on the wall with physical games. Like, they still have the most... They're still selling the biggest percentage of physical games out of the main hardware manufacturers, but...
And apparently...
drop on their end, and they're like, well, if this is going to become more of a thing, why do we need to go out of our way to, like, go all out and supporting all these different sizes and stuff? It might be a problem now, but it's not a big problem.
Well, I'm not actually sure they're, you know, leaving aside the ethics of and game preservation and all that. Right now, being able to get Puyo Puyo Tetris on a resellable key is a good thing, because most games are basically game key cards at this point. With most, like, to the point of not even bothering, even when they can fit it. Like how Doom is like a 100 megabytes game.
That, like, people who only play Nintendo are running into, because, like, on other systems, there are plenty of games where you buy the disc, and not that none of the data's on there, but there's no mandatory attachment.
Yeah, so even if every game fit in the 100 gigabyte dual layer 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray discs, then you'd still have the problem of you basically have to install the entire game over again. I mean, for the game keycards, again, the problem is not so much the now, it's the later with the preservation. But it's a digital game that you can resell.
Right. Well, yeah, that's the big problem, but I don't think that's something that Nintendo
right.
cares about.
For a big advantage right now, again,
that's
with...
a problem for them, that's a problem in terms of the consumers, but from a business perspective for Nintendo, they're not.
Again, unless it turns out that just third-party physical sales crater.
More lucrative for them to be able to, repackage and resell.
Well, didn't they used to do Nintendo Selects 10 to 15 years ago? Like, cheaper versions of their big selling games? You know, because I think Nintendo has brainwashed us to believe that they Their games have always been $60, but then they would have sales, more frequently than they do now. And, you know, I guess this is part of just how they want to make a bit more money by simplifying the SKUs for cartridge manufacturing. It's possible that they are having problems with getting chips for that as well due to tariffs or chip shortages, or I don't know what. It makes it... This technology hobby is a little bit tough lately. Okay, well, so far staying in it. I don't know what place you're in, but you clearly...
I've been in first most of the time, honestly.
Oh boy.
I did get blue shells, they knocked me down the stairs, so I got back in.
Yeah, it seems like blue shells are constant now. But I think I jinxed you.
But the computers are not bad.
Even on normal difficulty. I guess it's hard. That would be the real problem for us if we wanted to have more online like knockout tours. Cause like yeah, you know, I really wish the battle mode would have been a little bit better, because that doesn't seem to be very populated.
Like Mario Kart Deluxe had like a much better battle mode where they actually just back from the Mario Kart 8 and they kind of just went back. So I don't know the problem. Aside from having to like design unique courses for them, yeah, like that.
I mean, in theory, it seemed like a good idea to take sections off of the open world to make the battle mode courses.
Right, but that's what, well, they did do that in the open world Mario Kart. So they basically just leave it. Battle mode in the original Mario Kart was like a separate race mode.
Oh.
Sort of battle mode, and then nobody liked that. So
Oh.
They made a real battle mode in Mario Kart Deluxe, and then somebody
Second.
decided not to do one for this, and kind of went back.
Huh.
I mean, it still is a battle mode with the balloons, but I don't think it's what
Oh boy.
oh, nice, you got that.
Well, let's get back to free roam for a minute to talk about everything else. Gosh. Like, I did not know, for instance, until recently, that Sega might be making a theme park, or at least, you know, or probably contacting an existing theme park developer to add a Sega land. That seems like a pretty big no-brainer, for Disney, for instance, to counteract, Universal if they really wanted to, but maybe they don't want to have,
No, I don't
rival...
Sega and Disney don't seem like
Yeah, no, as soon as I heard it, I was like, no. Because the rights for Sonic are held by Paramount Global, which is currently having enough problems with its merger talks and with the President Taco trying to censor them without attempting to, you know, negotiate a theme park deal with Disney. But Sega's definitely negotiated a theme park deal with somebody. I would imagine in Japan? But I'm not sure who.
Definitely say if Sega were to have the cachet to do something like that, it would be Japan. Even then, I'm pretty skeptical. They've done smaller scale things with like the industry, and it's
There was something in us.
so far.
There was something in Australia in like 2000. I forget the name of it, but it was like
They
Sega
did a
Land or
couple
something.
things. They were Sega Joyfulist a long time ago.
That might be it.
And
I'll
they've done,
have to
like,
look it up.
sort of like arcade theme park hybrid kind of thing.
Hmm.
And like small scale theme park with small boosters and sort of arcade style stuff, but that's I don't know, like I don't know where they would fit in a current theme park landscape, because a theme park, either Disney or Universal, is looking for something massive budget, and I don't think Sega
Huh.
thing, but they're not really doing that sort of thing right now either. So, I don't know. I don't think this is the right landscape. That could be wrong. They're making some big.
Yeah, it seems like if they are going to be making a move in this, it's because Nintendo has proved it already with Nintendo Land being such a massive success.
And they're, you know, Sega's really sort of awakened themselves to like, oh, we have a lot of valuable property. Maybe not valuable level.
Like Harry Potter.
A theme park for them, but maybe let's try making them relevant again. Like they have a Shinobi game coming up this year, they have Streets Raid, Streets Taxi, Jet Set Radio. So like they are kind of mining that stuff again and hopefully being successful with it, because I think in the 2000s when they were doing a lot of that, like the Ill-Fated Golden Axe game, it was just
throwing things at the wall because we just canceled.
Calls about who to partner with and like rushing these games out. But now I think they see the formula at least, because they did I think Streets of Rage 4 and Sonic Mania were pretty big. Like, okay, we just need to partner with people who care about these franchises before we develop them in-house, and we just really try to put out a quality product.
Yeah, well, that sounds so straightforward, but sadly it is not. And that these early moves were probably responding to flailing after the end of the Dreamcast era. Like they had the initial partnership with Microsoft, for instance. But that turned out well.
Great games there. I'm more so talking about like the main thing that comes to mind is like that was terrible. I remember renting out of the Mac Rider.
Oh god.
Like, how could they have that? Like the Golden Axe game did stand for something like 20 years before that game was out. Like,
I really don't think Xbox is at this point now, but if they're just gonna become a line of budget gaming PCs, then they really need to have software that is just so good it has to be bought everywhere. Or they need to actually make software that can only be streamed on other devices, because whatever bullshit they're talking about with AI for these things, though I don't imagine that there are any games coming out anytime soon that like have AI NPCs, because that would have to be developed for years and years, and the technology is still very robotic for that sort of thing. Otherwise, I'm not sure what buzzwords they're fucking on about when talking about the next generation, which is, oh, we're just everywhere, which is the same pitch as the current generation. What does this box do? You know, because the current box that I'm playing on right now, instead of my Xbox, it has Mario Kart. If you don't have games exclusive on these things, then you have to come up with something else, and being a Game Pass box is not it. But on the other hand, if the rumors are true that, and I think that's part of why they did the announcement, was to dispel some rumors about like the Qualcomm stuff, that they're still with AMD to make sure of the backwards compatibility thing, but also just like that it's possible that Xbox could just be a bespoke PC chip that makes sure games run well at particular resolutions and settings. I'm mixed on this, because it would simultaneously win the console war by Trojan horsing a lot of PCs into it, and also possibly doom gaming. Because, you know, I was actually okay with Microsoft being on the back foot a little bit, because when they were against the wall, they came up with backwards compatibility and Game Pass and all these amazing things to try and compete again. And if they just win by default by having PC mode on Windows machines that then have an Xbox mode and that's it, then what incentive is there to try? Or what incentive is there to keep developers?
Doing the PC solution is, but Sony still has their exclusives, and those are pretty powerful.
It's Microsoft.
I think Sony's sort of like in that position where they realize that if Microsoft goes this route and Sony's putting stuff day one on PC, that could be a problem for them. So I think they'll continue to do what they're doing, where they'll get it to PC eventually, but most of their stuff is going to console first, and then PC later. So, because that's for Sony.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily think that, like, this will kill Sony, but the idea is, if you can't beat them, then just change the rules, and that's what Microsoft is attempting to do. So I should have clarified that I think that they're attempting to just completely disrupt the console war by having, you know, great software on everywhere. But we just have, other than, what was it, earlier this year, oh no! Well, I think that bodes the end of this stream, everybody, due to technical problems. Okay. I did. Okay, well, can you hear me okay? Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, there we go. Yeah, I don't really know what was going on there either, but okay, so where was I? Alright, I was thinking that it's more just that when it comes to Microsoft, their whole strategy was to make Windows Trojans into everywhere with the original Xbox, and the dark implications of that, since they're already the biggest PC OS operator, is that they could just, you know, be anti-competitive because they feel more secure in that. Or just that literally everybody and nobody has won the console wars, they're over forever and everybody's just in their lanes and doesn't really have competition. So like Nintendo sets whatever prices they want, Sony sets whatever prices they want, Microsoft sets whatever prices they want, because they know that you're locked in and you're fucked. I.e. switching costs is the big problem. I've been able to avoid that by being an insane person and constantly selling hardware and stuff, but again, not everything is going to be viable for that. Like with the Steam Deck, I had to go to the private market for that, and that was no guarantee at all, even with how in-demand PC handhelds are right now. And again, I do miss some things about the Steam Deck, because it is more ergonomic for sure. And again, that freedom and variety is there, but the reason why I got rid of it is not because I think either is better than the other. I mean, I got to play a little bit overlap for a couple days, and there were games I liked on both, because good game machines play games well, and they focus on that. It's more just that, and I guess we'll see how this works out, because I shipped out my Steam Deck now, so if it doesn't, I'm stuck with it. But I'm hoping that my parallel solution will run these games well. And I don't like the hoping part, I just like games to work. So, I mean, as long as the next-gen Xbox can just work with all my Steam games, I think it'll be a good move in the end to have a PC mode, but the desktop modes that I've seen on, like, the Steam Deck and stuff, they're clunky as fuck compared to nice console interfaces. And if that's the way consoles are going, it's gonna feel weird. But I don't think that PlayStation and Nintendo are gonna do that, so that's just a Microsoft trying to stay relevant type of thing. But when you're spread yourself too thin, and try to have back to Apple for a second before we wrap, have the same OS on everywhere, it theoretically has a lot of benefits, but that can also cause a lot of code problems in practice. And like just with streaming in general, it can be buggy. There can be latency. There's just a lot of devices that are going to expect a good experience and then just not get that. You know, I've just been having a good time gaming with the Nintendo Switch 2 for the first time in months. Instead of just like, oh, well, sorry, your quick resume doesn't work anymore. We have to restart the game. Or, oh, this game needs an update. Well, there are updates, obviously. But like, I don't know, just the way it feels more minimally put together is kind of refreshing, because I do love the Xbox UI, but you kind of need a master's degree in it sometimes. Anyway. So, final thoughts, since you've had a whole month, basically, with the Switch 2. A little bit longer than me. Oh.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I haven't played it that much, but it's mostly just because of Final Fantasy right now. So, like, it's the only game I've been playing. I tried to put Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, but I gave it up to the
Yeah, that's how I'm feeling about Breath of the Wild.
And then looking 3 obviously, that's a great game. Exactly to that.
But yeah, what is it about? Oh. What's been so good about Final Fantasy 16 for you? Because I haven't been seeing it other than the cutscenes.
It's not. I wouldn't even say it's like a game. I'm having a lot of fun with combat so far. Well, I did bump up the difficulty. I'm doing all the side quests.
I see.
I kind of solved the combat, but at least bumping up the difficulty let me give myself a little challenge. And I would say, yeah, mostly the combat and the story, because the RPG elements are pretty minimal. Like, but I also need that goal because I've had 2 years to read the criticism about it. So that's one of the helpful things about waiting a little while. Is like, I'm going in without any preconceived notions about, oh, this is what people expect from Final Fantasy RPG. But it's really, it is a character-active game with vision RPG. But yeah, that's what I've been liking it.
It's kind of been feeling very meh and done before to me, but that's just me.
It does open up, like, 6-ish hours in. I know that's big commitment, but
It is.
once you start getting more abilities, kind of go, and then it is a lot of cooldown juggling, so that might not be, okay, I'm not sure,
Meh,
but
we'll see.
it becomes a lot of that, and some of the abilities are way more powerful than others in a way that, like, oh, I leveled up this ability and made the over level that I have up here that powers it up. I'm like focused on that. But
Wow.
again, the difficulty which you can see it and yeah, the combat does open up because you'll get different elements and stuff that'll let you switch. You start with just the body.
I see.
I don't know, it's fun. I'm not gonna say it's great. I'm just having a decent time with it. And I always plan to play it at some point because I finish every non-MMO fight.
Yeah, I can definitely see how that would appeal to you.
So, you know, I actually was talking to a coworker yesterday, and they're like, yeah, you're probably like 2/3 of the way done, so probably another 10 more hours.
Wow. Well, I think that does seem very impressive. I think I will be milking the demo, for sure.
The demo, I just played that on PS5. yeah, I had a thought and I lost it because I got a new video.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds really cool. Send me a picture later.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say, like, it's definitely not gonna be high up in my ranking all time Final Fantasy, but I'm glad I did. Like, my biggest criticism is probably, like, the side quest. They're very much, because this was worked on by a lot of Final Fantasy teams, and side quests in particular are very, very MMO fetch quest style. Like,
I see.
I think I've had two out of a couple of side quests I've done that.
Oh boy.
Grabbing the bug, grabbing
Yeah, well,
they're quick and they give you stuff, so I've been continuing to do.
I tend to beeline. I tend to beeline for the main objective where at all possible, so I'm like, okay, that's fine.
I think you'll be fine doing that, because also in the course of doing those side quests I did, like I said, myself,
Yeah, wow. Well.
And I don't know if they give you these in the demo, but in the full game, it's not doing the combat, like, every time and stuff, there are items that are made in these settings.
Oh, interesting.
To help you with carrying and stuff. I'm not sure, like, how they help you exactly stuff to try that, but they're there.
I wish there was an accessibility setting in Tears of the Kingdom to enable me to not have to have enemies respawn when I reload a save, because, well, here's what happened. I snuck into a Collab Cam in the northeastern or northwestern area that's really cold. I forget. Hebra? Yeah, Hebra. So then what happened was I ended up just charging through to the treasure room to try and see if I could grab the treasure chest and then find an advantageous position. But they ended up surrounding me and killing me. It's okay, whatever, big deal. And then I reload, and suddenly I'm on a balcony and all the enemies have respawned and they're unaware of me. I kind of get it. But it did mean that I basically would have to die in exactly the same spot to have the that same behavior happen, because once I ended up spawning by the explosive barrels, I was like, actually, I'm gonna climb over top of the entire stone dome of this camp to land on on people and then strike them down from stealth. I also ended up attaching exploding barrels to a cage and throwing that at the big guy with the horn, or whatever his name is. Yeah, the one who ends up blowing the horn and is a big dude out of the bokoblins. Mob, probably. But yeah, like, I've just been playing games, and that's the thing that I've been really liking about the Nintendo Switch 2, is I can just push it on, and there are great games involved. If I had played Super Mario Bros. Wonder and Tears of the Kingdom already, and, like, wasn't sharing Nintendo Switch Online and all that jazz, then it would be a much different story. But my verdict on the Switch 2 from the week or so that I've had it is that it's an amazing system, and you won't be disappointed if you get it, but it's fine if you don't. Like, honestly, I'm not gonna hold it against anyone who doesn't get this game in the Switch 2, because, well, amazing. Unless you just, like, absolutely love the gameplay in this, and please like and subscribe if you did. I just don't see why people who just want a game should run out and get the Mario Kart World bundle. I'm hoping that there are more non-Kart World SKUs out in the wild, like not a fucking banned console or whatever that's being resold. That's scummy as fuck to do by scalpers, or even just apparently they've showed up in open box retail stores. But still, like, this is a great game. Is it worth $80? Fuck no. But it's definitely worth the $50 if you want to get that game as part of the bundle and not, say, Tears of the Kingdom, which so far it is worth the $70 that I got for the cartridge because I got the upgrade for free. There's all sorts of individual situations, and I feel like this one-size-fits-all online debate has just taken over and become incredibly toxic. Where you're either a Nintendo shill or just lame and missing out. Again, like, I'm not gonna blame anybody who decides to skip. But it's fantastic, and I'm so glad I've been playing it with you. Even if the multiplayer options leave a lot to be desired. At least right now. We shall... We shall see how things shape up in 8 years, because what really is a system review? It has to be all the memories that you've had with it over the generation, really. This is just first impressions. But, well, I shall let you go. What day will you be available next? Yeah, Saturday won't work for me because, organic plug, I am going to be live streaming the first of the Delta Papers, which is a series of 3 historically based manifestos decrying the President Taco's second administration in so many ways, including it, and most overlooked, its travesties against trans people like me and Zan and all that. But then in a couple of weeks, I've got more historical comparisons to do, and then at the end of the month, I will analyze the American presidency and let people know my thoughts on how to reform it as someone who wanted to be president when I was 5. So there you go. That's what I've been slaving over in a lot of my free time. Anyway, we'll see you Friday for offline gaming.
So I'll plan on Friday then, unless something comes up. I'll let you know then.
Yeah, and then after that, hopefully stream of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 plus 4. Anyway. Alright, you have a good one. Bye-bye. And you all have a good one as well.